Hello, I'm Zardus, and let's play City Skylines. I am happy to be back here in Capilano Islands, the city that we're building without zoning at all. We are hand-plopping every single building. And so this one will be highly detailed, but my style is also that I don't want to go overboard because I simply don't have the time to plant or to do detailing to the level of Strictoaster or Flutstramps or any of those big detailers. But what I do is I try and make sure it looks realistic, and you can see what we've done here. We've got a nice looking little church here. It's pretty basic, and in fact one thing I want to do is over here in this park I've added some short grass, and I think that makes the texture of the grass look a little bit better. And I'll probably go back and add that over here in the cemetery as well. But anyway, so I try to make it detailed enough that it looks good, but doesn't take too much effort. And then that allows us to probably, or hopefully, get more done and eventually make this city really nice. So the things we're going to do today are one thing that I started doing at one point. I don't know if that was during the episode last time or between the episodes, is I want to do dual zoning here. So right now we've got commercial buildings on the bottom, and then I put residences on the top, and we're going to extend that all the way down here. So that whole block will be mixed zoning. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to work on putting in some residences in here. And we can see over on our to-do list, the ones that I have picked are the Morgan Street houses by King Leno. They were released last week, I think. And I think they look good, and they're going to be nice in the neighborhood we're going to build. Then the next thing is we have two older gas stations. I had a request from a commenter that we put in. We have one very fancy. Oh, that's the pharmacy. Where's the gas station? Over here. Excuse me. I still have this lingering cough that all of you have been listening to for like 2 weeks now, probably. I think. But anyway, so this will be the newer gas station, the BP, and we might add a couple others, but I had a request for some older gas stations, since we have this old national road here, and the idea is that we have this older road and an older town, so we might as well have some older gas stations. I think one of them we'll put over here by the old motel, and the other one I might put over here, and because this used to be the intersection of two national roads, where one of them went along the coast like this, and the other one went off into the hillside. So I think this would be a popular spot for a little bit of commercial stuff, but then they redid the circle, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll think about that more, and we'll probably put one gas station here, and maybe the other one on the other side of town. Go over here. We can extend that national road a bit too. I would imagine that it would come over here and originally continue on here, and maybe it'll just be a little frontage road here, because the cliffs get pretty close here. And I have a feeling that when they built this highway, they took out the old national road. So, yeah, and maybe even over here. Maybe we'll just have this come over this way, and then just kind of end-ish. But anyway, let's get started. Let's do the mixed zoning first. And what we're going to do is pull up the assets. These ones are commercial. These are all by a guy named Find Build. and he did a lot of, he has a Brooklyn collection, and these are all from that, I believe. Let's see, we need to turn on Road Anarchy to get these to plop in here. I think it was Road Anarchy, yeah, okay. So we'll do that one, and we're just going to kind of alternate in here. I think these are, oh, these are very, very slightly different, but we'll throw in this one a little bit, and we're going to go back with Move It and clean up those storefronts a little bit. A moment here. Got room for one more, perfect. Okay, so now with Move It, we're just going to move them back ever so, well, this one's fine actually. This one needs to move back. As you can see, the front of this one is very different from the stores. So we need to get it back a little bit, which is nice because then that little balcony appears better. That one looks fine. That one's fine. This one can move back also. Fine, fine. And back. And there we go. So we have our mixed zoning in here. I mean, the only thing I don't like is all these trees, but those are native on the asset, I think. Or maybe I changed them. I can't remember. It's been a week since I did the last episode. A little over a week, in fact. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned on Capilano Islands or not, but the plan right now is that I will be alternating between Banished and Fairview Shores. So I have a Banished series that you may or may not have seen yet called North Pass. And then I have Fairview Shores, which is a City Skylines series, but it is vanilla. So I'll be alternating between that one and Banished. And then Capilano Islands actually takes me about twice as long to do because of all the details, and I often will decide to pause the game and then do things off camera. And so for those reasons it takes a little bit longer. And so the plan with Capilano Islands is that I will be working on it anytime that I have the time to do so. And so like this morning, my baby needed to be fed and a diaper change, of course, at like 5 in the morning. And so that was a little bit earlier than other days. And so I was able to get up and get up early and do this series. So we're just going through here with the different houses. Trying not to repeat too much. And let's see how this looks now. I think those look pretty good. The garages. One of them are tilted or turned, which is a little bit of a problem with our alley at the back here. And if we turn this, I mean, this one could be located this way. Bring it forward a little bit. But if I did that with all of them, then their porches would be on the side too, and that's not right. So we'll just have to do like surface painter or something to get their garage to be fine, which will be a little harder because of the slope there. You can see their yards have a hill. What does it look like if we raise them up Actually, that's not bad. I mean, then they have a little bit of a hill in the... Oh, you know what? Then their stairs are way too high. So we have to do it this way. Okay, so... I don't know. I think that's kind of a good block. Let's plop some more houses down here, and we started the bunch with the other... Like, we're just going right through like this for now, I think. I'll put them next to each other, as if they had zoned there. And then we're going to move them around a little. This one can be oriented on the other road, like that. This one already has a driveway over there. Okay, so that'll be good there. And let's just keep going, I think. Which way is that facing? Well, that's not very useful. And we can't turn it around, so that one's not going to work there. But it will work over on this side. We'll just come in this way. So this neighborhood, I think I may have said this last time, but what I want to do here is I want these houses to be a little bit more densely packed than where we'll see the rest of the map. And that's because this older neighborhood, I think, would have the houses a little bit closer together, and with the alley here and things like that. As we move further away from this older town, we will have more houses that have large properties, and we'll have some very, very massive estates as well. But for now, we're going to stick to this size. We'll go back and add fences, which will kind of delineate the property lines. Let's do 2 more blocks today here. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. I do think that we, I forgot what I was about to say there. I mean, like I said, I got up really early, so you're gonna have to deal with me being a little bit, spacey from lack of sleep, but anyway, yeah, so there's that. Okay, so this one is gonna be a little bit harder because we don't have zoning squares there. So what happens if I bring this guy over here? Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. I don't know why it didn't zone. Oh, it has a little bit of a curve there, I guess. Oh well. Moving on. Okay, so that's going to come over. We'll turn it around. Is that the same house? No, this one has a bench. I also think this is kind of fitting because these houses are very, very similar, and I think that fits in with kind of that neighborhood feel as well, where a lot of things are pretty uniform. Alright, so now I'm going to add fences, and I'll do this off camera so that we can get some progress going here. But, I mean, all I'm going to do is use probably this garden fence and just line in between all of them. And then, yeah, and then we will resume. Okay. Okay, so now I've added the fences, and yeah, so one thing I did was I made sure that like there'd be a little bit of variety. Like with these houses, these two have a driveway that kind of will connect here. It'll come down here and they'll have a shared driveway because their garages are right by each other. But then a similar house back here, these two families must not get along because they have driveway or garages that face each other, but they built a fence right between the two of them. So yeah, I wanted a little variety in there. So the next thing we're going to do is add the driveways, and that I'm going to use the, let's see, concrete, probably. Some sort of a concrete tile. But, yeah, I'll find that, and that is the next step here. And I will do that, and then we'll be back, and we'll be doing a little bit of foliage in here to kind of finish off this little neighborhood. Okay, so what I ended up using for the driveways is this driveway concrete, which was perfect. As you can see, it added a little bit more touch to that. And now what I'm doing real quick is going through and just adding some random house props that I think will make these houses pop a tiny bit more. And yeah, so we're just kind of filling in to give each house a tiny bit more of its own character. Let's see here. What else can we do? I mean, we need grills and things. Oh, you know what? Some of these people need patios too, but let's see real quick. Patio, nope. Tile. Concrete tiles. Tile decal. This one might work. How big is that? Checkerboard. Plaza tiles. I like that, but I don't know where. I mean, I guess King Leno didn't add back doors, so we can just kind of make our own here. And what we're going to do is just give everybody, or at least give quite a few people, the same patio here. See if I can get all four. You know what? I'll do it this way. So we want the 1, 2, and now I'm struggling. I love how I always struggle to get the mods to work when I am recording. I don't have trouble when I'm not recording, but for whatever reason, once I hit that record button, my mind is like, oh, forget how to use the time, or how to, now I can't even talk. I forget how to use the mods. There we go. And yeah, I think these patios are going to look much better than that ugly grass that has the ruined texture on it, which, by the way, I absolutely hate the ruined texture. Ooh, this looks really good to have the tile right around concrete. Look at that. That's a nice patio. We'll do the same thing over here. I mean, it's not a big patio, but it does look good. Give them a patio here and here. Plop, plop, plop. Over and over again. This is why I find that the Capilano Islands take so much longer. It's because of all these repetitive things to get the details just right. And then I still miss some. I think because at first I was doing random ones here, but now I've decided that everybody gets the same tile. There's only one tile company in town, so everybody gets the same one, and they're only stocked with one tile, one variety as well. So it's a pretty dull town. in some regards. But yeah, I mean, it looks nice. I wouldn't mind living here, and it'll look much better when we're all done. But for now, I want to get progress going on this neighborhood. And yeah, so we're gonna do that. I don't know what other types of props we'll want to. I mean, we'll have the grills, because that's the whole thing that spurred the patios, was that people needed a grill and needed a patio to grill on. And then the next thing to do, I guess, would be whether any of these people have pools. I think it's likely that some of them probably would, but not very many. My, how big is this block? I guess that's it. Okay. Oh, and look at that. We made it through. Okay. So what did I say? The next thing was pool. And we will do just the standard pool on some of these. Not very many, but like I said, maybe one every block will get a pool. Maybe two. I don't know. Yeah, we can do two. I can put theirs over there. Just to kind of add a little bit more variety to these yards and things like that. We won't do any there. So yeah, we've got just a couple of swimming pools. Then we needed a grill. And we've got quite a few different types we can choose from. So we'll just plop these down. A couple at each one, or each block. And I'm just kind of selecting them at random. And then we'll go back with the charcoal grill. And everybody will get some of those too. Of course, the people here spend so much money on their pool that they can only afford a charcoal grill. Which, okay, you know what? I could afford a charcoal grill myself, a gas grill myself. But I really do prefer charcoal. So I guess that was kind of a not quite accurate thing to say. It was that somebody with a pool can't afford a gas grill because they're pouring money in there. But anyway, now I'm kind of rambling and trying to fill the time as I do this. I hope you don't mind that I do that sometimes, that I just kind of talk and talk and talk about meaningless things. But I think you might like that, because I know when I'm watching some videos, I find that enjoyable when people kind of do random things. Oh, look, a doghouse. Let's add just a couple doghouses. I think most people don't actually have dog houses. I mean, I have a dog, and I wouldn't even think to put her in a doghouse. But then again, she's only 15 pounds. So, oh, a high-level doghouse. Well, that's fancy. But, yeah, deck chairs might be nice. Except now we're encountering some of the trouble of the terrain here. And by that I mean that sometimes there's a slope and your prop will not properly appear. You know what, we need to add some satellites. That's kind of a thing, isn't it, on some of these homes? But we'll get there, I think. That's more residential. That's grass. That doesn't quite fit for what I thought would be going in here. Hedges, we'll get to that too. I have a feeling we're not going to get to our gas station build this time, but that's okay. So that's the end of there. Do we have a dish? That's pretty big. That's really big. We'll just add a couple of these. because we have prop snapping, and I want to use that for a moment. There. Not very many have satellite dishes anymore, I think. Where they have a variety. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Just because I think it does make sense. Especially in a setting like this, where the TV, the antenna reception is probably not very good. Considering they are kind of on an island. They're not on an island, but other people are. And now I'm rambling again. Let's see, what else could we put back in here? Swing sets. And I think they would probably be more straight. And again, not everybody will have a swing set, but some will. Just throw random ones in to add that texture or the uniqueness to the build. Why are these people sharing a yard? Did I miss doing a fence in between them? I must have. We'll just add this real quick. And swing. Some of them can have just a standard two-person swing as well. Now, which way does that face? Got some lag. Okay. I can't tell. So we'll just do that. And then we'll go back and finally add the foliage, I think. Oh, the other thing we're missing is trampolines. I think that's a pretty popular residential feature as well. Theirs can be kind of straight like that. They put theirs in the back. And there. Okay. Nope, we don't have any trampolines. Okay, so let's get going on foliage here. And the trees I want to use... I mean, I want a variety of trees in here, of course, but for the most part, what does this one look like? Yeah, I mean, this can be... These can be our pretty standard trees that everybody has one of these, and then we'll add a little bit more variety, but low poly is good because that helps keep the frame rate up a bit. And maybe because these are uniform, these can be the trees the city planted along the parkway. Although there really isn't much parkway in this neighborhood, is there? So that's probably not an accurate thing to do either, but trees, in my experience in city skylines, really up the ante in terms of how things look. And you can see that in Fairview Shores, where like I'm playing vanilla, but I'm adding trees all over the place, and it really makes a big difference in terms of how the city looks. I cannot stress enough how much I think trees are important when you are building your city, because without them, I mean, it just looks really bland and dull, and you've got this ruined texture to deal with, which you can get rid of with a custom theme, but then you still just have boring old grass sitting there, and that's pretty dull as well. And okay, so that was that. Oh, hardwood. These are good trees, but we won't add too many here because we don't want to go overboard with that tree either. But I do like this hardwood tree. In fact, I like most of Padelmo's trees are just outstanding. I will add a few ash trees, not too many because they are not doing so well in America because of the ash borers. We had an ash tree when we bought our house in the front yard that had to be taken down pretty quickly because it was almost dead. And it's really a sad thing to see all those ash trees dying. But, here, black frost. Oh yeah, that is a good tree. Let's add a few of those as well. Not by the pool. Don't want leaves in the pool. So far, yeah, I mean, this city, or this little neighborhood is starting to look much better already. So can they get that caravan out? Yeah, they can. They can pull it out this way. Just gotta make sure that everybody can do what we think they're going to try and do. Now, the only thing we need yet in here are some live oaks, my favorite trees. Because oak trees are just absolutely beautiful when they get nice and big. Now, I don't want everybody to have a really forested backyard, because that is not realistic. Some people don't like shade, or don't like having to rake in the fall and stuff like that. But that looks pretty good, I think. Let's add some road decals. That's not what I want. Let's go all the way down here, because we've got here road wear. Minimize this again. And we'll just do this, because I think these residential streets are not going to be very well kept. I'm just going to go all the way down, I think. In fact, let's use Move It for this. Move It can really speed things up. I don't want nodes, buildings, trees, segments. Just want these props. Not the... Okay, you know what? Let's try this again. Single select. So now, there, shift. I can never remember if it's shift that selects them or control. But now we've got that, so that'll speed this up a bit. Making our roads look a bit older, less well cared for. We could put some potholes in too, but I think this will do the job just fine. And we'll just keep going. And I think that'll about do it for this episode, because it is well, we could go a little bit longer, I guess. I do try to keep the episodes to be about half an hour, but I mean, Capilano Islands, as I've talked about it, it does go a little bit longer because of the detailing, and it takes me longer to do, so it can make sense that maybe we just go a little bit longer in the episode. Now you'll see that I do overlap my props and decals a tiny bit, because I'm not so worried about the problem at this point. I mean, at some point I probably could be, but I don't know if we'll reach that, so we'll see. This is my first super detailed build city, so let's add... What other decals can we add to these yards? You know what we do need? We need some grass decal, or grass assets. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some together like this. so that we have a bigger bigger little chunk to place, and minimize this. We're just going to do this throughout people's yards. And that's really going to make a difference. Except I don't want to cover... Shoot. And that's going to be hard to pick out. Oh, man. Okay, so we'll be more careful. Go back and do that. Fix that in a minute. Don't want to cover anybody's patio or their driveway. Who wants grass growing in the driveway? I mean, I think I pay people to cut the grass out of my driveway, in fact. So, yeah. We don't want to make our citizens spend more money than they have to. I'd rather them pay that in taxes. Like a good mayor. And let's see. I really like this grass asset. As you can see, I mean, I'm adding it everywhere. But look at how much better that looks. How much more realistic. I got it on that patio. So let's get these out of here. I want to make sure I get the right one. Yeah, that's really annoying. Okay, let's do it this way, I guess. Though now I've grabbed the grass. There's one. There's one. Now we're gonna end up selecting the fence. And again, like I said, why do I always struggle with the mods when I'm recording? When that recording button has been pushed, it all of a sudden becomes, okay, Zardus, time to struggle with the mods. Oh well. Okay, so back to this over here. And I promise, I think once I've got this grass done, then we'll be done with the episode. If you're still watching. Which I hope you are. But, yeah. If not, hopefully you've left a comment to tell me how much you hated how long I went on the episode. But, yeah. Now I'm rambling again. I do think that if you're still watching at this point, you're probably pretty loyal to my channel by now. So hopefully I can get away with a little bit of this rambling and nonsense and complaining about mods and grass being in the wrong spot and what else have I complained about? Have I complained about hoodlums at all? I have a feeling this neighborhood would have a lot of hoodlums. And by hoodlums, I mean teenagers. If you're a teenager, I'm sorry, but you're a hoodlum, so. And now I sound old, don't I? Yeah, anyway. So, tomorrow, let's see, yesterday I did Banished, so tomorrow will be an episode of Fairview Shores, or as long as I can get a recording session in, but that would be the next thing on the agenda, would be Fairview Shores, and I have big plans for that. If you are listening, I'll give you the little reward that the spoiler is that there's an island between the high density area of Fairview, is the district there, and the lower density side of the river. There's an island in the middle of the river, and that island I'm going to make into a leisure area, kind of like what we did with the tourism island of Fringe's Isle. This one will be a leisure island, and it'll be connected with footpaths and one road that goes over to the lower density side. And yeah, so it should be pretty exciting to see. I think I'm pretty happy to do that build tomorrow. At the very latest, it'll be before the end of the weekend that I do that, but I expect it to be tomorrow. And I just got some grass on that person's patio, so I'll fix that. But for now, let's call it an episode. And yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please hit the like button. If you did not, then go ahead and hit dislike, but please leave me a comment and tell me why you didn't like it. And if you're new to the channel and for some reason you're still watching after 40 minutes, then I think you like the content. So I recommend subscribing so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.